I like Pokemon, and I really like drawing people. So today I'm gonna put those things together, and I'll draw Pokemon as people. I decided to tackle Eevee first, just because I really like Eevee. It's a cute little Pokemon, and like the whole Pokemon, Pikachu, let's go, Eevee, whatever. I don't know, I'm thinking about Pikachu and Eevee lately, so that's what I wanted to draw. I specifically, when doing this sort of challenge, I guess you could say, I didn't want to just fall under that drawing a girl in an Eevee-like sweatshirt. Which I think is something that people do a lot when they draw Pokemon as humans. They just sort of draw them in a sweatshirt that's the color of the Pokemon. I really didn't want to fall into that, so I really looked into Eevee. I drew him a bunch of different times. What makes Eevee look like Eevee, and how can I incorporate that into a human design? I have a lot to say on this, but since it's showing on the screen right now, at first I had this idea that the hood of her coat would be like Eevee's tail, but I just couldn't get it to look a way that, I don't know, felt realistic enough for me, my standards, I don't know. So I decided to change that. I tried a little smaller, but I still didn't really like that either, so I decided to go with a normal hood. Eevee's original design has those like big poofies right under his neck, like just a fur that's like exploding. And that I thought was a very important element of his design, so I wanted to incorporate it into hers. What I decided to do for this, after going through several different ideas, was to have her wear a big furry coat. Like originally I thought maybe a scarf or like, you know, something poofy around the neck, but I wanted to go a little bit different. I wanted it to be more, you know, more my idea. So I decided to give her a big furry coat that's super oversized so that it makes her legs look a lot slimmer. And I think that really pulls from that design of like that big poofy thing around his neck, and then he's got like a little body underneath of it. So that was the idea behind that. So it's a big furry coat. It's not real fur, because if she was wearing a real Eevee fur, that'd be kind of weird. It's a faux fur. For the hair, I played around with the idea that she would have 2 ponytails, because you know Eevee has 2 ears, but then I thought if I'm going to do a lot of these Pokemon as human things, every Pokemon has 2 ears. I'm not going to give everyone pigtails. So I decided to go with 1 pigtail. Again, sort of recognizing the fact that he has that one poofy tail. I think that was probably the best way to go, and I'm quite happy with it. It's cute. At this point, the character was very off-centered from the paper, and it was bugging me, so I realized I think I'm gonna have to fill this extra white space with something, you know, just level it out, and I decided to draw a couple Eevee in there. Just put one at the bottom right, one the middle left section. It just centered the character on the page and made the illustration a little bit more, you know, I don't know what the word is. It looks better, okay? It's just not so weird and off-center. For Eevee's fur coat, I'm super glad that I looked up references. Yes. Because I think if it had been up to me and I was just drawing a furry coat, I would have just basically outlined the whole thing in a big circular, like, swoopy motions and been like, yep, fur coat, done. But because I looked up references, I knew where all the seams were in a jacket. I also found, like, a reference to this jacket that had these little hangy tail things, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, because then I can use that color gradient of an Eevee tail where it goes from dark to light, and I can do a couple of those on her design. Again, trying to incorporate as much of Eevee's design into hers as possible, so I'm really glad that I did that, and because of the references, I had new ideas, and yes, use references, folks. Once I had her design pretty much down pat, I used my Kneaded Eraser, lightened up the sketch, added in the line art to like Eevee and her and everything else. So I had some nice finished line art, and before I add in colors, which I'm always nervous about making a really terrible color scheme, because it's one of my many things I need to work on. So I decided to draw a little miniature version of my sketch so that I didn't ruin the big one, and add colors to that. And then if I didn't like them, I didn't ruin my illustration, right? Pretty good idea. It's basically a little thumbnail where I can test out the colors, and I just really enjoyed drawing something super fast and small. It's just one of my favorite things to do. If I could just do that for a living, that's all I would do. Just draw tiny little cutesy little sketches that are like super fast and quick. But yeah, so I did that, and then once I was happy with that color scheme, I started applying that to the illustration. One of the things I was thinking about when designing Eevee, and you'll see it sort of incorporated into her design, is that Eevee, you know, is a Pokemon that can evolve into like a ton of different evolutions at this point. Like she could turn into almost any type. So I was thinking, oh, so this character doesn't really know who they want to be yet, so they haven't picked a stone yet to evolve or I guess there's ways you involve them without a stone now, but it's okay. But she doesn't know who she wants to be yet, so she's kind of like a little basic girl. So I gave her like white sneakers, and I gave her leggings and like things like that. I don't know, just sort of ideas I had just to keep her very simple, and like she hasn't made her decision of who she wants to be yet, so she's just sort of being just like everyone else at this point. Like she's kind of just trying to fit into the crowd, and she hasn't really found that thing that makes her her yet. And then any part that needed like color, I decided to use blue because Vaporeon is my favorite evolution, so that's just for me. I was just about done and I was gonna like walk away, but I realized it felt flat. It felt like it needed a little something, so I decided to shade it, and I used just this very light, I think it's called light lilac. It's the Ohu marker, like 147 I think, but I tested it on the swatch page first to make sure I liked the way it looked, and it looked pretty good, so I added that shading to the whole piece, used the exact same color. It's kind of the lazy way of shading, but I think it has good results when you use like a nice pretty purple and I like purple, so I'm gonna do it. And voila, we have my take on Eevee as a human. Next I'm going to do Pikachu. That was a spur of the moment impersonation, and I apologize. For Pikachu, I was very inspired to draw him as a little boy, and I thought for the hair, again, I didn't want to give piggy tails, so I thought, what kind of hair would a Pokemon with electricity powers have? And I thought, well, if he was static electricity all the time, his hair would be like sticking up and messy, so I was like, that's a good idea, let's do that. And that is what I did. These commentaries can get a little weird because I feel like I'm just explaining, and then explaining that I just explained it. And now that's exactly what I'm doing, so moving on. I decided to put him in overalls, and the reason behind this is whenever I see like a bunny or like a mouse, you know, animals that have, like even a squirrel, like when they have those back legs that are just so, I don't know what the word is, they're just so round, even though like if you look at the skeleton, they have normal like skeletal structure, but when they have all that fur and like that skin, that their legs just look so bulbulous. I don't know if that's a word, but it makes me think of overalls, like big baggy overalls, so that is why I'm drawing him in overalls. These overalls start out really simple and normal, but I end up incorporating a lot more Pikachu design to them later. So this is when I realized his design is just so plain and normal and not Pikachu-y enough, and I noticed actually, Pikachu has a very important element of his design, and that is his lightning bolt shaped tail. No other Pokemon has that, so I need to incorporate that into the design. So what I did was actually in like the overalls where there's the button in the crotch area, I was like, that looks like the wrinkles look a little bit like a lightning bolt, so I just emphasized that and made it look even more like a lightning bolt, and voila, there we have it. Also, I was like, why does he have to have normal straps on his overalls? Straps could be shaped like lightning bolts, so I made those shaped like lightning bolts as well, and I'm really happy with it. I feel like it just really added something, made his design definitely different than it was before, and a lot more Pikachu-y, so yay. But I also was like, well, I drew Eevee's in the last one, I guess he needs to have a Pikachu, and I, of course, drew him a little off center, so really needed a Pikachu to center him on the page anyway. So drew a Pikachu, drew it a little bit more in my style. I wasn't really trying to make Pikachu look like, you know, anime Pikachu, but he's here. It's a Pikachu. Took me a while to decide on a pose, but eventually we did end up with a Pikachu shaped form. Once I had all the details on the design settled, I just had to add the line art, which is boring, so let's skip through that. It's just tracing what I already drew, although I'm really happy with the way the shoes turned out. I've been really practicing shoes lately. I just wanted to draw attention to that. Thank you. Now I have a beautiful, clean, fresh piece of line art, and it's time to add color, but of course I am not stupid enough to just throw the color at it. I'm going to make another swatch, so I made a cute little Pikachu boy doodle and started adding colors to that. I actually don't use these official colors. I change it just a smidge, but because I have all those colors already on the paper, I know what they look like, and I've decided and made my decision, so it's all right. And then we just add that to the illustration, add some nice marker doodly colors, so yeah. I'm not 100% happy with the color scheme for Pikachu. I think I did a okay job, but I kind of like the Eevee one a little bit better. for color wise at least. I think I just used the wrong yellow, and that might have been the problem. Just the wrong yellow. I don't know. Another part of Pikachu's design that is very specifically Pikachu is his little rosy cheeks. So I have these 2 red round buttons. So I was like, that's perfect. It's like his rosy cheeks. So I colored those in red, and then I also did it on the button on his overalls. And I decided to make his socks red as well, just because it's kind of the accent color. So any little elements that I want to draw attention to, I guess I would use in red. So that is what I did. And yeah, the thing that I changed from the color key was the shirt. I thought the brown was just too dark. I thought it directed too much attention to itself. I was like, the shirt's kind of like the least Pikachu-y bit of him. So the fact that it's drawing so much attention just wasn't working for me. So that is what I changed from the color swatch key to the actual illustration. And I'm happy with that decision. Then all I needed to do was color Pikachu, because for some reason I forgot to. And then I also went in again with that exact same purple color and added shading, so that it not only kind of like pulls these 2 pieces together a little bit by using the same color to shade, but it also shades the illustration. So 2 birds with 1 stone. Yay! 1 stone. And there we have it. Pikachu is a person. I had a lot of fun drawing both Pikachu and Eevee as human beings, and I guess as well as drawing them as Pokemon, because I ended up drawing quite a few of them. This was really, really fun, and I totally challenge you all to do it as well. Draw your favorite Pokemon as a person and see how you can design their outfit and everything. It's really, really fun. Anyway, I want to thank you for being here and making it to the end of the video and supporting me. I really appreciate it, and you really matter to me, so thank you very much. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys all next week, and I hope you have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye!